Okay, just got a notification the wallpaper is here. Oh my goodness, it's happening. They're kind of heavy. Oh my goodness. Well, hello friends. This is clearly a very exciting moment. I'm not going to waste any time with a proper introduction, so if you're curious about what's happening, go check out part 1. It might fill in the dots for you a little bit, but I'm going to get straight to opening it up. The moment of truth has arrived. Let's look at this. Okay, but before we continue, I want to take you back to what I did to prepare for this moment. So the first thing I did was to take down my temporary workshop because I had no more grand sawdust messes to make. And I cannot tell you guys how rewarding this was. Like, I know we have much more dramatic things coming for us in store this video, but when I took all of this tape and tarp down, this room felt so bright and so airy, and it was just literally a breath of fresh air in this room. And then I just had a bunch of math to do. Well, not that kind of scary math, really just a bunch of precise measuring because I needed to figure out exactly where I wanted the panels to go, and I also wanted to be able to cut and paint all the trim before the wallpaper came. And yes, in this moment I would have definitely appreciated having a miter saw, but you know what? I grabbed out my miter box and my miter shears, and you know what? They did the job just fine. Then it was time to find a paint color and paint the trim after I had cut it all, and I was specifically trying to find a paint color that matched the existing trim in this room because I thought that would make everything look more cohesive. I will say in the end, I felt like the paint came out a little lighter, but still it was pretty decent, so I just worked with it. I feel like I should also explain exactly how it was that I ordered the wallpaper for these specific panels because that was also a bit of a process. But honestly, you guys, I was floored with this company that I bought the wallpaper from on Etsy. I'll make sure to link them below because I was able to send them the individual measurements of all the panels, and they custom cut out the wallpaper for me such that I didn't have to worry about making all those precise cuts when the wallpaper got to me. Which brings us back to this moment. Look at this! Oh my goodness! Honestly, you know you are making this more difficult for yourself. I must. Much better. You know, this is a very odd sort of hat stand. Not quite to my liking, but it'll do. Yes. Close your mouth, dear. We are not a codfish. So I'm sure you're wondering what's going on. The reality is I was filming this during Halloween week, and I've actually been Mary Poppins for the past 6 years now. I've always loved to dress up, but it was 6 years ago I decided to be Mary Poppins, and I made this costume and I was walking around, and the reaction that I got was absolutely insane. So I then have just taken it as a part of my personality, and every year now I am Mary Poppins, and I just try to make my costume a little bit better every year. And so really, I just wanted to include Mary Poppins in the video, so this was me indulging myself, if you will. Okay, so this is how it's turning out so far. And I'm honestly really curious to hear from you guys what you think about it, and then would you ever consider doing something like this in your own home? Or maybe I'm late to the party and you've already done something like this. I would love to hear from you guys. So the wallpaper's up and I'm absolutely loving it, but clearly we've got to finish it off because it looks a little jagged, a little bit like I just slapped some posters up on the wall. So I've got 3 major things that I need to do. 1, we need to put up the molding. 2, we need to hang the curtains. And 3, we gotta paint this wall behind me because that ain't gonna work. Now, because I have unrealistic expectations for myself, I'm gonna try to get this done in 1 day. So, who's with me? Oh, and as a side note, some of y'all might have seen that this section behind me was taped, and that was because it's directly over this heat vent, which I have since discovered caused the peel and stick to peel off the wall. This was not something that I realized could happen to peel and stick wallpaper, so if you have a solution, please comment down below and help everyone out. So I've already gone ahead, as you know, and cut and painted the trim. I think I'm happy with the paint color. I mean, it's a little lighter than the trim, and I was going for an exact match, but I think it's the best that I can do, and I'm just gonna fingers crossed that I like it in the end. Oh, it was kind of funny though, actually, when I was first cutting these, because I wasn't actually sure which way the trim was supposed to go as far as the thick side. And so then I called my creative support team, which for me is my mom and my sister, and I was like, which way is it supposed to go? And they were like, oh no, duh, it's clearly supposed to look like a picture frame. And then I went on Pinterest, and sure enough, that's how you see wall molding. I mean, I don't really know that this is officially right. You know what I mean? I think you can do what you want, but I was amused because I never realized in all of my looking at wall molding that this is how you want it to go. You want it to go thinner side to thicker side on the outside. Anyways, the most important thing though that I have to tell you is I'm going to be attaching this with command strips because I am renting and I do not want to officially attach this to the wall with, nails and glue and caulk and all of that. So we're gonna go with command strips. And you know what? Command strips have done me well in the past, and I'm rooting for them to pull through again today. So let's do this. I feel like I should also note that one of my main sources of inspiration behind just wanting a darker, moody room was my pet peeve that I do not like rooms where you only have an accent wall. I guess I'm just not the biggest fan of a dark accent wall in general, but especially the ones where you only add wall molding to one side of the wall in a room. I've always felt like if you add wall molding to a room, you need to do it everywhere. And so that's one of the things that I stuck with here. And so then when I had the idea to use peel and stick wallpaper, I saw the Pinterest photo too, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to have this room be continuous, this 360 experience. The last piece. Okay, so clearly I didn't get it all done in 1 day. But I did do things behind the camera that were incredibly helpful. The first thing is that I taped off the mantel and the wall so that I can paint it, and I went ahead and primed the wall. So that's a double check right there. And then I also went ahead and hung the brackets for the curtains. And I call that a huge success because it means today, literally all we need to do is hang the curtains and paint this wall, and we will be done. I also want to mention that when I was hanging the curtains, it was my first time using a hammer drill, and I'm officially obsessed. If you don't know what a hammer drill is, it basically not only does this motion, but it also hammers while it's twisting, and it makes everything so much easier. So wow, I'm gonna have a hard time going back to my regular drill. But anyways, I should also clarify that I got explicit permission from my landlord to hang the curtains before doing this. In fact, before I moved in, I made sure to clarify that I would be able to hang the curtains because hanging curtains is, well, it would have been a deal breaker for me. That's how much I care about them. But I do have one thing to tell you that didn't go so great before we go on to the exciting things. So apparently, I can't count to 18. I had 9 panels, which means I had 18 sides to make, and I only made 16. So this guy's missing them. But let me tell you why that's okay. One, because this is a series, so we're just gonna have to come back to it in a future video. And second, because I'm about to put a Christmas tree here. And if that's not a great solution for your problems, then like, I don't know what is. I just have this like one corner in my room that I just like really struggle. Like I just don't know what to do with it. I mean, have you tried covering it up with a Christmas tree? But moving on, let's go ahead and hang these curtains because that is way more exciting for me than painting a wall. You guys, I have waited to open these for about a month. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. The curtains. Oh. So I actually want to take you back to my old apartment, and I know that initially there were many very curious choices in this room, but the thing that bothered me the most were the curtains. And so I was so excited when I found these curtains online that were so affordable and I could order custom, and I made sure to hang them floor to ceiling and then also away from the windows so that it made the windows look bigger than they were. And my goodness, when I step back, I think this was the single biggest thing that I did to bring a luxury feel to this dilapidated room. I mean, just look at the difference in the before and after photos. Insane. So I knew I had to use their curtains again, and I picked out one of their many fabric swatch booklets so that I could pick out the exact color that I wanted. And my goodness, they just have so many color options. It's actually kind of insane. But anyways, I picked out this color called gray beige because it's that perfect taupe color I've been obsessed with lately. And then I just went on their website, and again, it's so convenient because you just pick out exactly what you want. Now, some of you eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that I didn't hang the curtain brackets all the way at the top of the ceiling, and that's because I want to add crown molding eventually. And normally that would be a problem because I would have to go back and hem the curtains, but again, with 2 pages, I just pick out the exact length that I need, no hemming involved. Literally, I have not seen these myself yet. So then I used the back tabs that these curtains come with and attached curtain rings to them because I feel like this is just the epitome of a luxury look. And then all that was left to do was officially hang them up. And when I say this completed the room, you guys just wait. I think the curtains speak for themselves. Now, of course, I'm obsessed with the pinch pleat detail and the quality of the fabric in general, but the thing that really puts me over the edge is where else can you buy custom curtains online that's nowhere near the price of other custom curtains? Okay, so true story. I picked out the measurements for these curtains, like the length and the width that I wanted and the kind of pleat and everything. And I purchased them, and then guess what? 2 pages reached out to me and they were like, we would love to collaborate with you. And I was like, biggest yes ever, because I already knew from using their curtains in the past that I loved them and could trust their brand. And frankly, I was already planning to use them in this room. And so now you guys can get 15% off your purchase through this link below, and I'll make sure to put it in the description box as well. So special thank you to 2 pages for sponsoring this segment of the video. And I hope for the rest of you, there are happy curtain moments in your future. So now it's time to paint this wall, and massive shout out to everyone who commented down in the last video to help me pick this paint color. I really appreciated it. So the general consensus was warm stone, and I was excited about this because, to be honest with you, I also was leaning towards warm stone at the time. And I was so excited to get on here and be like, we're gonna go with warm stone, and it was gonna be like peppermint and sunshine and rainbows. But I waited to pick the paint color, And I think this was wise until I had the wall mural up, because light does funny things, you know? Like, as soon as colors drastically change, like hues change and undertones change, and also I wanted to be able to analyze what it looked like at night versus during the day, and also when it's like one of our, you know, normal like Pittsburgh gloomy rainy days. And so here's what I think I'm going with. Well, not I think, I've already bought the paint color, so I know. So this is warm stone. I'm gonna go with virtual taupe, which is very, very similar, but it's just a little bit more warm toned. What I noticed having all the paint colors, I actually left them up here for a while just to stare at them and observe them, was that warm stone, particularly during the day and at night, leaned a little too cool toned for my liking. Like it ran a little blue almost. And as much as I liked this color when this room was white, I think the reality is I want something that has a little bit more warmth to it so that it reads more just like this base ground neutral color. I also have to say I really like this color virtual taupe with the curtains, so I feel like this is the right color choice. And almost in line with the moment I was beginning to realize I didn't like the paint color, my tripod fell over. Okay, so then I went back to the drawing board and I ended up finding this new paint color from Fair and Ball called Mouse's Back. And I love it because it's literally the in-between color of warm stone and virtual taupe. And then all that was left was the most satisfying part of this entire video. You guys, I literally cannot wait to hear from you down in the comments below. Please tell me what you think about this room so far and its transformation. I know that I love it. Like, I know that it's bold and dramatic in terms of the colors and doing like a full 360 wall mural, but because it's a nature scene, there's also something so serene about it. Also, because I live in Pittsburgh, it tends to be like dark and dreary and gray out a lot of the year. And so I'm actually really excited for my January self at sort of the peak of the gray and dismal to have a room that first off feels like just a cozy cave environment, but that also is one that is just kind of comforting because I've added in like just kind of a permanent green tree summer scene. So I am very excited about how it's coming along, and I hope you guys are too. Now clearly we're not done with this room yet. I need to add the crown molding. I also need to add those 2 strips of wall molding that I forgot, and also just kind of clean up the edges and the trim. And then of course, I'm gonna need to get furniture and hopefully a rug and really zhuzh up this room with the final touches. Oh, and you notice like the lamp in the corner? I mean, I think its days are numbered. All right, see you in the next video.
Mary, we've been here quite a long time. What exactly is the point of all this?
We're waiting.
Oh, I see. Now I don't see. Who are we waiting for exactly?
Oh, honestly, we're waiting for them to like and subscribe.
And that's the point of all this? Well then, aren't you going to say something about it?
No, absolutely not. Begging is entirely unattractive to my way of thinking. No, some people just need more time. That's all.
You know what I think. I think you're just too conceited to ask. I think you're wasting our time.
Oh,
I
that's
think
quite enough. Thank you.